Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back to my channel. Back with a video on software-defined radio, and this time we're going to look at the working principle behind LoRaWAN, which is actually a low-power technology, which is quietly being used for Internet of Things. This is getting quite popular nowadays. So we're going to look at the transmission and reception, and we're going to try to implement that, or we're going to try to understand that using GNU Radio. If you were to look at your GNU Radio, if you compile your recent GNU Radio, as you will come to know that here you will find the LoRa receiver and LoRa transmitter, all the necessary block that you need to implement LoRa transmitter and LoRa receiver. So I just came across so as you can clearly see here, you have LoRa receiver blocks, and then you have your LoRa transmitter block. So we're going to quickly look at these blocks, and to do this, we're going to follow this particular tutorial that is available on GNU Radio. And there was a recent paper which was actually published on GNU Radio, I think 2024. So this was the paper, and this is the complete implementation of the transmitter and the receiver using LoRaWAN transmitter and receiver. So the paper name is Design and Implementation of LoRa Physical Layer in GNU Radio. Just simply click on PDF and you will see the paper. And then this paper goes into details of every single block that they're using in GNU Radio. And you can do exactly the same thing. You can go ahead and read on it. They also written a paper back into 2020, and this is an upgraded version which was presented in GNU Radio, I think 2024 or 2023, I'm not sure. And here is the GitHub page for it, and this is a complete implementation. So we're going to look at one of the examples they presented in their paper, and we're going to walk you through. I'm going to try to walk you through with all the blocks that are there. So it's just actually these blocks, which is going to act as a transmitter block, and these are going to be acting as a receiver block. Of course, they're using USRP to transmit and receive, but we're going to look at the simulation purpose, and I think I will make a video of this using USRP as well. So this is exactly the same block that they're using in their paper, and we're going to walk you through it. So we're going to take a file source. I'm just taking a random file source, which is basically means alice.txt. It has some text file. This has text file, which is available online as well. And then this is going into a whitening block. Now, what this whitening block is doing is actually randomizing the data before encoding it, and removing any data-specific binary patterns. So basically what it's doing is actually taking your data itself and XORing with some pseudo-random generated sequence. All of this detail, I'm just briefly going over these blocks, but you can quickly go ahead and look at it in their paper as well. I'm going to leave a link to it. So it's just basically randomizing your data, which is coming in from your file source, and using some pseudo-random generator. And that pseudo-random generator is based on some linear feedback shift register that is based on polynomial value of x to the 8 plus x to the 6 plus x to the 5 plus x to the 4 plus 1. So it's actually these are being XORed together with a pseudo-random generator, which is being generated using linear feedback shift register. Now the next block that is there is actually a header block. This header block is basically an optional block. You can use this block actually. This carries information necessary to decode the frame. So if you want to decode the frame, this is basically you want to transmit your header along with your actual data. That's why you can use this. Or if you don't want to use it, you can just simply don't use it. This actually composed of your payload length, presence of your CRC of your payload, the code rate, and the header checksum. And if the transmitter is not including it, it's use implicit header. Now this implicit header means if you don't want to include it, but this value in this flow graph is actually false. So which means I want to include this in my transmitting. In my data transmission as well. So this is an optional block. Now the next block is actually your CRC block. So it's actually using CRC. So yes, it has CRC. Now this has CRC is true, which means you're defining that yes, it does have a CRC. And what is the value of your CRC in this block is actually the code rate is about 2. All right. So this CRC basically it's using a polynomial, which is x to the 16 plus x to the 12 plus x to the 5 plus 1. and it's only computing the CRC of your payload. So this block is only computing the CRC of your payload. Next thing you have is your Hamming code block. Basically, it's working as a parity check. So you have a code rate that is about 2, and then you have a spreading factor that is given as a value of 7, which is also being declared. So SF, which is your spreading factor, that is given as 7 in your block. Now, so this is basically sort of working as a header block, and so this is sort of working as a header block for a parity block, and you know, why do we need this? We need these Hamming codes. Actually, we need CRCs and Hamming codes because we want to detect if there is a breach, or if my data has been compromised, or for example, due to a wireless channel, if my data is getting corrupt. So we would know that my data is being corrupted, so it will be able to detect that error. Now the next block that is there in this flow graph is actually an interleaver block. Now this is, I'm implementing a transmitter, and this is all the blocks that you are seeing. This is coming from right here. All right, all of these blocks are coming from right here. And if you were to look at the block orientation, this is actually coming from the paper itself. So this is what it is. If you were to look at your LoRa transmitter, this paper was actually presented, and it has about 84 citations. This is exactly what we're doing. We're doing a whitening block, we're heading a header block, then we have CRC, then encoding, and then interleaving, and then gray mapping, and then modulation, and then you will have your transmission using your antenna and things like that. So this is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to implement these blocks, and this paper has done it. This paper is also explaining all of these blocks. This is where I'm getting all that information from this particular paper. You can go ahead, and I'm going to leave a link there. If you want to further explore this, you can do that as well. So the next step is actually your interleaver block, and this interleaver block is actually, and it is used to spread the bits of the code word over multiple symbols. And this is just to improve the capability of your error correction and detection. And it uses something called, this interleaver blocks uses something called low data rate optimization, LDRO. So if you were to look at it, so we're using LDRO. This is right here. So LDRO is enable. So we're using low data rate optimization because this is designed for low data rates and things like that. So this is what it is. So interleaver block, basically it's actually spreading the bits into multiple symbols, and just to improve the capability of your error correction codes. Now the modulation part is actually a modulator. It will have some preamble length. This is preamble length. If you were to look at your block right here in this diagram, this is where the preamble block is coming in after LoRa modulation. It's part of the LoRa modulation block. You'll have your sample rate. You have a spreading factor, which is about 7. The bandwidth is defined. It has LoRaWAN has about 3 bandwidths. So we're using a bandwidth of 125 kilohertz. This is what we're using, and this is defined right here in this variable block, as you can clearly see. And now this is going into a channel model block. So this channel model block is detecting, it's using CTOs, which is your clock offset, carrier offset, and center frequency to calculate frequency offset, and your noise voltage. So basically, this is trying to depict a additive wide Gaussian channel. Instead of that, you can put a USRP there. You can do that, but this is just to depict the channel itself. Then it goes into a frame sync block. This frame sync block, what it does, it used to detect the start of a LoRa frame. That's what it's doing. Then after that, the value in this is actually going to be your center frequency, your bandwidth, your spreading code. Yes, you're using implicit header, which means my header information is also being transmitted along with my payload, and which we are transmitting it. We have a preamble length of about 8, and then we have an SNR that is defined by -5 dB. The next block is actually your FFD demodulator. This FFD demodulator is basically performing discrete Fourier transform. You can refer to the paper as well. Then the rest of the block is actually performing the opposite of what gray demapping was doing. And then you're having a interleaver block, and then you have a hemming code block, and then you have a header decode block, and then you have a de-whitening block, and then you have your CRC verification. Now let's run this. We have this file, text file, which is going to be broken down into smaller chunks, and it's going to be transmitted. So we're going to visualize this right here, and we're going to transmit this. Here we go. There we go. So we have first payload. Payload length is about 74. You have CRC present. You have a coding rate of 2, which is defined by this variable block. Then you have a receive message that is being received. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank. And you can see the payload length here, which is 74. CRC present. Coding rate is present. Header checksum valid, and so on. So the entire packet is broken down into smaller chunks, and this is being transmitted using by my transmitter, and this is being received, and you can clearly see the printing of your printed message right here in this console. So this is how you basically implement this. A basic working of your LoRaWAN based transceiver. Also, one thing I forgot to tell you, that this modulation block is actually use a technique called chirp spread spectrum, and this is the same chirp spread spectrum technique that we have used in our SDR Angel. If you forget about this, remember we have a chirp modulator, and chirp modulator basically is depicting LoRaWAN modulator. So this is basically what it is. So if you were to, let me just simply open up SDR Angel, and then you can see that there is a option of modulation in add channels, where you can go ahead and look at chirp sequence, chirp spread spectrum sequence, which is actually designed for your LoRaWAN. This is what it is. So chirp chat, this is what it is. This is what is being used by LoRaWAN. And that's about it. If you have any questions, I'm going to leave a link to this paper. And you can also go to their GitHub as well. There's GitHub. If you go ahead, I'm going to leave actually a link of this GitHub page right here. And this GitHub page will have everything. You can compile this. You can download the example where I am looking at from, where I got this problem from, this flow graph from, and then you can also visit the papers. So this was the original paper, which was written in 2020, and this was actually, and this is the updated paper that you're looking at, which was in the proceeding of GNU Radio conference in 2024. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.